Hitler voulait que Berlin soit un jour aussi beau que Paris, mais en plus grand. Et aujourd'hui, 4 ans plus tard, Berlin est en ruine. Et Paris toujours aussi resplendissante, vous comprenez? Ça lui est intolérable. Même si, stratégiquement, cela n'a aucun sens. Paris doit être rasé, surtout l'opéra.
Hi everyone, I'm Johnny, and today we're taking a look at an excellent German and French World War II movie titled Diplomacy. The film is essentially a masterwork or paragon of a dialogue-driven movie. The movie is almost entirely centered around two men during a one-night discussion on saving Paris from Hitler. Diplomacy is centered around two men, Dietrich von Choltitz and Raoul Nordling. Raoul Nordling was a Parisian with Swedish heritage and served as a Swedish diplomat in the city during the war. He is considered a civilian war hero for helping prisoners of war and for acting as a mediator between resistance forces and the German occupiers of Paris towards the end of the war. As portrayed in the film, Nordling was instrumental in convincing Dietrich von Choltitz to disobey Hitler's orders to destroy Paris before it was liberated by Allied forces. Dietrich von Choltitz was a German general and the last commander of Nazi-occupied Paris. The movie takes inspiration from Choltitz's memoirs as he wrote about the events of his command in Paris after the war, which also inspired the 1966 film Is Paris Burning? The memoirs include, of course, the time frame of the movie, which is essentially an all-night meeting with Nordling on the night of August 24, 1944. Choltitz took command of Paris August 7, 1944. Before this time, Paris was considered a glamorous post for German soldiers and officers. But at this point in the war, his position was deemed commander of a besieged stronghold. Instructions from Berlin were to be executed to the letter, and officers and generals alike were at risk of being put to death for hesitation to carry out orders. Sippenhaft, or family liability punishments, were also being strictly enforced at this time, for cowardice or defeatism. On the 23rd of August 1944, Hitler by cable gave the following order to destroy Paris. Paris must not pass into the enemy's hands, except as a field of ruins. Choltitz had a love for Parisian culture and architecture. He knew that destroying the city's countless monuments, bridges, and churches would be a crime against humanity. He further knew that the destruction would potentially kill tens of thousands of civilians. Choltitz's decision, however, couldn't have come easily, and that's the strength of the film. It's a wrestling match of logic between Choltitz and Nordling, and one that is very believable. The two go through what you can only imagine is hell for Choltitz, a logical, intelligent human, but one who is loyal and one who would potentially face deep repercussions for his family should he betray Hitler. Choltitz was decorated from both World War I and World War II. He was involved in Germany's successes in Poland and the Netherlands. He fought in Sevastopol and Kursk against the Soviets, and against the Western Allies in Italy, and again during the Allied breakout from Normandy. Choltitz was a complicated man. His private conversations were recorded after his capture when he was imprisoned at Trent Park with other generals. He expressed remorse about the liquidation of Jews, which he was at the very least aware of during his time in the East. After the war, he spoke of being ashamed for misleading his young soldiers into believing Nazi ideology. Choltitz was complicit in war crimes and more than likely directly involved in them, yet he also became the savior of Paris. For perspective, it's not completely known how much of Paris Choltitz could have destroyed. His resources were limited by the time he took command of the city, and these resources were dedicated to fighting the resistance. It is possible he could have attempted to flood parts of the city and hoped to start uncontrolled fires. Either way, his status as a total savior of Paris is debatable. Furthermore, he may have also factored in his own place in history, choosing the winning side at the end of the war. These circumstances are unfortunately not explored in the film. However, Choltitz's depiction in the movie remains important because it highlights out loud the thought process of intelligent men wrestling with years of indoctrination. Ultimately, Choltitz, true to history, makes a decision that does save lives over siding with Nazi law. But the journey from decorated Nazi general to traitor and savior of an occupied city is mentally a long one, which is what the film is all about. The film highlights through the dialogue how even nationalism can be used to betray a uniform. One excellent argument from Nordling is that if Germany did destroy Paris, it would make relations between the two countries near impossible after the war, with the French forever hating Germany. It's also frightening to think of how, despite how much destruction Germany caused, it could have been worse if not for men like Choltitz. Choltitz's actions did essentially save Germany from an even greater shame after the war. Dietrich von Choltitz surrendered the German garrison in Paris on August 25, 1944, to representatives of the Free French forces. He was imprisoned for 2 years after the war with no specific charges ever brought against him. His family escaped any punishment from the Nazi regime due to the chaos gripping Germany as the Allies closed in. Alright, I'm Johnny. Do check out Diplomacy. If you like good dialogue, good acting, and/or World War II history, this is a must-watch. And sadly, it still has themes that are relevant today as European cities continue to be destroyed. Anyway, do take care, like or comment, and have a nice rest of your day.